righty, welcome back, everybody. It is the Tim Conway Jr. Show live on 97.1 FM Talk. Arsenio Hall is with us.
This girl has a nicer ass than Paula, man.
Can't let stop looking at those pictures.
Wow. But I didn't take the filter off. The officer behind me through the glass, he says, take the filter off.
Yeah.
So, you know.
You guys like that, man.
One time I searched, and this is a strange proclivity, I searched for nude photos of Don Cornelius' wife. I don't know what's... I hosted the Soul Train Awards for him, and his wife walked up, and she's like this gorgeous Russian chick, like 6'4". And I was like, I know there's a naked picture of her somewhere, and I couldn't find one.
Well, Ryan Seacrest's chick, Sara Jean Underwood. So check her out. Now, I got to ask you a question. When's the last time you have lived in an apartment in Los Angeles or in Southern California?
1984.
84.
Yes.
For me, it was 19... I tell you, it was 2001, I think. No. Yeah, 2001.
Okay.
2000. Year 2000.
But you're talking, condos don't count, right?
No, an apartment
building. This was a rental apartment.
Yeah. And it was down in Seal Beach. And the people in that apartment complex were pretty cool. There wasn't a lot of crazies.
Okay.
There's one old guy who walked his gray cat named Shark on a leash, who I thought was, anytime a cat's on a leash, I think that's a lot.
Anytime your cat or your child is on a leash, I watch you carefully.
But I have a friend who lives in Studio City, and he got divorced. He has 2 kids, and he got divorced, so he moves into an apartment in Studio City. Now, the apartment building that he moved into is a high-end apartment building.
Okay.
All right.
Like the Wilshire Corridor, that really nice stuff.
Yeah. But he's paying, I think he told me $2,900 for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Jesus Christ.
That's a nice place.
Yeah.
Right? So, and there's a couple of, restrictions in the building. There's a couple of breed restrictions when it comes to dogs. You can't have a pit bull in there.
Okay.
And a couple of restrictions on how noisy you can be and stuff like that. But what's happened nowadays, with this economy going in the toilet, they'll rent to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And even these high-end buildings, he's getting, like, gang members and people in there who are making a lot of noise and a lot of drugs, and it's going to turn into a horror fest, with the hookers and the massage girls and everything. And it's happened. Where the other day, he walks downstairs. He's on the 3rd floor. He goes down to the 2nd floor because there's a lot of noise. His whole apartment is vibrating. He knocks on the door, and there's 2 big gang members who open the door. It's filled with pot smoke. And he's like, hey, could you turn down that stereo? He goes, and the guy goes, what, that stereo is too loud for you? And slams the door on him. And the stereo now is just going to be loud. It's nothing you can do. And this is like a high-end building.
I hate to say this, but I think I was in that apartment when the guy knocked. Hanging out with some young bangers I like.
But can you move into a big apartment building, even if it's high-end? And I'm not talking about Ventura or Orange County or San Diego. I'm talking about Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, without it being filled with crazies?
That's weird because, crazies got paper, too.
They do. and these apartment buildings are hurting for tenants. And now they're letting almost anybody in. Yeah. It used to be just, people were quiet, maybe between houses. They just want to enjoy themselves. And also, when you live in an apartment building, you've got to be conscious of the noise and the odors and the smoking and whatever you do in that apartment, because you got somebody living below you, above you, on the right and the left, everywhere. Everywhere around you, there's somebody else.
It's interesting that people, pushers, as we used to call them, I think now they're guys who sling. But that's one thing that doesn't get affected by a bad economy. People are still selling that dope.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No,
I think even more so now.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's like, I smoke a half a joint today because the times are high.
All right. Here are the phone numbers, gang. If you live in an apartment building, even if it's high-end, is it now filled with complete effing lunatics? Here are the phone numbers. 520-9710. That's 520-9710 and 888-520-9710. Now, I went about 2 years ago, 2006, almost 3 years ago. I was about to sell my house because I can make some money on it and move into an apartment building. And I even put a deposit down, $600 on an apartment building. And I told my wife, I said, she agreed. Let's move in an apartment. I got a baby daughter.
I'm sorry, you had to ask your wife?
No, I didn't ask her. I said, listen.
No, it's cool.
I didn't ask her. I said, I recommend you move with me. But what I did is, when I got home, I looked up LAPDonline.com. They got a website. You can see the crime in certain areas.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So I looked up this area, and I thought, well, it's a decent area. It's a great building. The crime rate's got to be pretty low. So I typed in the address and the surrounding area. Rape, murder, drug deals, cars stolen, assaults, robbery. It was just through the roof.
Yeah.
In an apartment building, that it was in a decent area, and the apartment was going to be fairly expensive. You know what? You cannot. I don't think you can live. I mean, Gina Grad lives in a fairly small apartment building. How many units in your place?
What?
How many units in your place?
Let's see. 8?
8?
Yeah, 6 or...
And how many are filled with lunatics?
Including myself?
Yeah.
8.
You cannot live in an apartment in Los Angeles anymore without some a-hole living next to you.
Oh, and you know what the worst part is? I've become ninja when I put my key in the door, because the second my neighbor hears the key in the door, he comes out to try and throw some game at me, and
Is that
he's
right?
always a little drunk, and so I got to be real quiet when that key goes into the door.
Oh man,
Gina, don't you have a cat on a leash though?
She's not on a leash.
All right, if you had a nightmare living in apartments in and around the city of Los Angeles. And again, I'm not talking about the outskirts. I'm talking about the city of Los Angeles, where I think all the crazy people live. All right, here are the phone numbers. 520-9710. That's 520-9710 and 888-520-9710. Now, when I lived in an apartment building that was filled with crazy people, it was on Riverside Drive, awfully close to where Randy Wang lives now. Riverside, just east of Laurel Canyon. And it was a huge complex, but it was filled with crazy people. And almost everybody in there was completely nuts. And outside, there was one of those guys with that big arrow. He twists the arrow and flips the arrow.
Those guys are talented.
Yeah, and he goes around their back and under their legs, and they flip it around. And he was dressed in a clown's outfit. And every Saturday and Sunday, he'd be out there for 8 hours, pointing to my building, which was great, because when I told people how to get to my place, I would always say, drive down Riverside until you see a clown with a big arrow, and he's pointing at my building.
That's funny. Ironically, I have a friend who is out of her mind, insane. Guess what I noticed the other day on Christmas cards? Her address is the same return address as Randy.
Oh, no.
Am I lying, though? She lives in your building.
And, she's insane, but she's probably the least crazy person in my building.
Ooh.
My building is full of nothing but old Yenta craziness. The woman next to my apartment is so insane. I woke up one morning on a Saturday and my entire sink was flooded because my garbage disposal had broken, because the woman next to me, hers was broken and she kept turning it on. So I go across her, I tell her, my garbage disposal is broken, you're flooding my apartment every time you use it. As soon as I leave and I walk back to my house, she starts turning it on again.
Jesus
and
Christ.
It comes up through my
bad
sink.
break for you.
Tim, you ever pull a gun on a neighbor?
No. You?
Hell yes. I had a neighbor.
In an apartment?
Yes, my last apartment that I lived in years ago. My mother flew out from Cleveland. And you know how brothers are about their moms. And then I'm sure white guys are too.
Right.
But,
I wouldn't count on it.
But you know how athletes are. First thing a black athlete says, hey, Mom! But we're number one. But anyway, my mom flies from Cleveland and she arrives late and wants something to eat. My mother starts cooking something in my apartment kitchen. And my mother's really loud and, but she's slamming cabinets. Guy comes and knocks on my door. And he doesn't know who it is, but he said something about the noise, and he said something that I found offensive. And I put a gun in his eye. You know, that's my mother making that noise, man, and she gonna eat tonight. She gonna eat tonight.
And he understood what you meant.
Yeah, and big
message. It comes
and the bottom line is, he's one. You know how there are. I'm not a big guy, and I think big people depend on that. And he had made an attempt to intimidate me one time, and I was not having it.
Oh yeah,
I was not. So it was like I was ready to go that night.
Yeah,
which is insane. People listening, and the 12-year-old who listens.
Oh yeah,
don't do that because jail ain't worth it.
But you know what? For the amount of money you pay for rent, a friend of mine in Studio City paying $2,800 a month. You can rent a house for that kind of money, and not deal with the neighbors. You don't no longer have to be in an apartment if you can afford $3,000 a month. There are people in the San Fernando Valley willing to rent you their house because they're about to be foreclosed on whatever, or they moved out of state for $2,500, $3,000 easily. But get yourself a nice house.
So you can get yourself 29 rooms next to Craig in Oregon.
Yes, where you can make a lot of noise and do what you want. But when you're paying $1,100, $1,200 a month, and some of these other signs, when you see a sign outside of an apartment building, $5.99 moves you in. Mm-hmm. What it doesn't say, and Steckler always pointed this out, and the sheriff moves you out. Because that's what happens. You're going to slide in there for $5.99. You ain't going to pay that rent for more than a month or two, and then that sheriff's going to knock on your door and put a lock on it, and all your crap's going to be in the street. But I really think, especially if you have kids, it really is tough to live in an apartment building in Los Angeles. I really do. I think it's tough.
Well, yeah.
Let's talk to Tim in Long Beach. You're on 97.1 FM Talk. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
All right. What do you got?
I just moved into a house in Long Beach because of the great real estate market. And my next-door neighbors in the old apartment building were manufacturing crack.
The man-made drug.
Right in the building.
I come home from work. The cops are in front of my door. They got the wrong apartment. They're about to bust in my door, thinking that I was manufacturing all this nonsense.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, but except anyone, and then the apartment 2 doors down from me, 16 people were living in.
Is that right?
Yes.
Holy Christ. And what were you paying a month?
For a 2-bedroom, I was paying $1,250.
See, now, for $1,250, you should be in a decent place.
For $1,250, you should be in a damn good place in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, like Huntington Beach. Hey, now, when they make crack, how did you know? I mean, could you smell it?
It's an antiseptic smell. It smells like you're in a hospital ward.
I see. And is there a danger, like when you're making meth, that can blow up? Is it the same thing with crack?
I'm sure. Look at who was the comedian who...
no, Richard Pryor stuck a cookie in his milk, and the milk blew up. Don't lie on my hero,
it's
man.
The low fat with the high fat, and it blew up.
Oh, I thought you were, when you said comic, I thought you were talking about Don Knotts, and I know Don Knotts never did that.
No. Wouldn't talk about
that's
Don
terrible.
Knotts.
What are you living now? Where are you living now?
Long Beach.
Same place?
No. I moved from Huntington Beach to Long Beach. I got myself a house.
Oh, good for you.
And now the house next to me is vacant, and the house to the left of me is 4 kids. So things are fantastic. But the rent out here are cheap compared to Manhattan. My old apartment, a studio, I was paying $2,500 a month for.
Jesus Christ! I can't believe that people are in Manhattan have to pay that.
That was under 300 square feet. A 1-bedroom will cost you about $4,000 a month.
Jesus Christ!
And
all right, buddy. Yeah, we thank you for calling.
You know what I learned from that caller? Just based on the description of smells and different things, I don't think my mother was cooking that night. I think she was making crack. So I think that guy had a right to knock on my door.
All right. Our apartment buildings in the city of Los Angeles filled with lunatics. All right. 520-9710 and 888-520-9710. And it's not an elitist thing here. I'm not saying, hey, I got a house, so you should have a house. I'm telling you, for the amount of money you pay for a decent apartment in Los Angeles, you can rent a house in the San Fernando Valley. Check it out. Go to, houserentals.com or go to Westside Rentals. They do that.
Maybe the smell of crack is popular.
But I don't understand. If somebody could have a house for the amount of money they're paying in rent in an apartment, I don't understand the move to sit there in an apartment and just trust that everybody around you is going to be on the up and up.
Not going to happen.
And especially today, when even these high-end apartment buildings that are charging, $2,800 to $3,800 a month, as Arsenio Hall says, they got paper, even the lunatics.
Yeah. Hey, now you could be in a mansion owned by Whitney Houston, and 2 weeks later, it's like, apparently Bobby got it in the divorce. All of a sudden, oh, man!
All right, 520-9710, 888-520-9710. Brendan, Los Angeles, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. How are you?
Hi, Tim. Hi, Arsenio. How are
Hey,
you?
Brendan.
Hey, I'm a former Clevelander, by the way.
Good for you.
Anyway, I live in Marina Del Rey, and I live in a very nice building, but my next-door neighbor is a smoker, and he comes out into the hallway, and he thumps his cigarettes out on the floor and puts the cigarettes out. And you know how some people, they don't want to smoke a full cigarette? Well, he takes the cigarette up against the wall to put the half of the cigarette out. And it's a mess, and it's right outside my apartment.
Christ.
I hate smokers.
And what do you pay a month?
$1,800.
Jesus Christ. Now, see, if you're paying $1,800 and you were living in, I don't know, let's say Akron, Ohio, you could have the nicest condo or apartment or even a beautiful house there.
Absolutely.
And not have to deal with these guys.
Probably.
But because, we're all living in Los Angeles, or most of us who are listening right now, when you live in Southern California, everything's so goddamn expensive.
For the money she's talking, you're LeBron James if you're in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you ever done that? Have you ever seen what $1,800 gets you in the Midwest?
I already know. I don't even have to check it out. I already know what it is because I grew up there. So
Crazy. All right, Brenda, thanks for calling.
Sure.
Sorry you had to deal with that smoking lunatic.
We love you, Brenda, and
Dare those smokers.
I agree with you. Smokers are the devil.
I lived in an apartment building in where was it? Koreatown. And my next door neighbor, the neighbor across the hall from me, was over-the-top gay guy. Older gay guy. He's probably he's probably in his 60s. And he would always walk up and down the hall in his shorty robe. And one day, I had a note on my door, and it said, Phil across the way. He says, I've got a FedEx package of yours. And so I hesitated because I know that, he's going to answer the door in that shorty robe. I know he's going to, I'm going to see something there. So I knock on the door. And I said, hey, I'm the neighbor from across the hall here. You got a FedEx for me? And he says, oh, yeah, sure. And he turns his ass towards me to go pick it up. And he's totally nude. And now I got his ass looking at me. And it's a full rooster shot. And I'm just, I can't believe that there's anything. If that FedEx box was filled with money, it wouldn't have been worth the hassle. And his butthole staring at me, and his, those old, schnuts who've had a workout.
You sure got a lot in one quick glimpse.
Oh, yeah. Red Roosters ahoy, man. Sitting right there. And then he turns and gives me that FedEx box, and Jesus Christ. I still have that image burned into my skull. And I think the FedEx box was like some Christmas gift that my mom gave me. It's like a pair of shoes or something. Slippers.
So indirectly, your mom destroyed you.
She did it on purpose. Karen in Los Angeles. You're on 97.1 FM Talk. How are you?
Hi, Tim. Hi, Arsenio.
What's up, baby?
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Oh, wait a minute. Obama's president.
Oh, Nappy New Year. But don't say that unless I'm standing next to you.
Yes.
That's
Get your ass
right.
kicked.
That's right.
All right, what's going on with you? You're in an apartment?
So I'm in an apartment in Los Angeles, and I have to tell you, I have the exact opposite experience.
Whoa. You got
My neighbors are quiet. Everyone's wonderful, and everybody even cleans out their own lint trap in the laundry room.
Jesus Christ. Where are you living?
In Beverlywood.
In Beverlywood. Okay. What are you paying a month?
$18.25
For one bedroom?
2 bedroom, 2 bath.
That's not bad. You got lucky.
We are blessed.
Yeah, you got very lucky. But these new apartment buildings, even the ones that are going up. These apartment buildings nowadays that have there's apartments on the second, third, and fourth floor, and on the bottom there's like shops and restaurants and stuff. Even those buildings are getting complete lunatics. You know, I mean, the people with major psychological problems, and they're living basically in your house. Oh, yeah. It's like one big house, and you live with all these people.
You can smell their smoke. Yeah, I know. And this lady's going to find out that her second bedroom is full of dryer lint. Everybody's been sneaking up to clean it out and then put it up there. You know?
All right, Karen, congratulations.
Thanks. Take care.
All right, take care of yourself.
Karen.
Johnny in Los Angeles, you're on 97.1 FM Talk.
How you doing?
All right.
Hey.
Okay, we had a interesting situation where there was a guy that had an apartment, but he was never there. And he decided to place his mentally ill brother inside the apartment. Now, besides the 5 slamming of the doors every night, he finally was caught naked, sweeping the street in a bandana. Now, it doesn't get much better than that.
And that's your neighbor.
Not anymore.
I know, but at one point, that's the guy.
Exactly. I mean, the guy was
Jesus
nuts.
Christ.
He was just nuts. And yeah, he's out. He's got a bandana on, naked, sweeping the street.
Was his last name Wang?
No.
Okay. All right, buddy. We thank you for calling. See, that's what you get in Los Angeles. You know, you may not get that in in Pasadena or in Ventura or Valencia.
How far out of Los Angeles do you have to go?
About 1,000 miles.
About 1,000?
Yeah.
So I'm standing in the valley where the 405 and the 101 meets.
Right.
Where do I have to drive
You've
for
got
decent neighbors?
Stay on the 405 and get out to Valencia.
Oh, go north. Go north.
Go north on get out of Valencia, or go north on the 101. It's actually west, but get out to the 101 and get up to Ventura, Santa Barbara. You know, but even Santa Barbara is filled with lunatics for some reason.
Yeah, because I met a crazy man in Ojai.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, they're here too.
Yeah, I think Oregon is
that's what I said. Next door to Craig.
Yeah, you got to slide up there. All right. Anybody living in an apartment building in Los Angeles, are they filled with absolute lunatics? 520-9710. That's 520-9710 and 888-520-9710. It is the Tim Conway Jr. Show. Arsenio Hall is with us. We're live on 97.1 FM Talk.
Everybody's talking all this stuff about me. Now, just let me live. Permission, make my own decision. That's my prerogative.
97.1 FM Talk.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the Tim Conway Jr. Show live on 97.1 FM Talk. Arsenio Hall is with us.
And I'm gossiping with Tim.
Yeah, gossiping on what NBA basketball players are effing who.
Yeah. And apparently some stories get by me.
Because I knew that story and you didn't, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of you, Tim.
Black Hotline, man.
I got to call it Black Hotline, exactly.
It's that's all we do is Google people who are dating porno chicks and playmates.
Absolutely.
That's all we do during the commercial break.
And you know what? We're really happy. It sounds wrong, but we're really very happy men.
I know, we don't sound like two idiots, two lonely guys, but it's actually pretty cool to do. All right, folks, is it a bus living in Los Angeles in an apartment? Is it just filled with lunatics? 520-9710 and 888-520-9710. David in Pico Rivera, you're on 97.1 FM Talk. How are you?
Hi, first-time caller, long-time listener.
Excellent.
Oh, sorry.
First-time listener.
Well, there's as an apartment manager, I manage a big apartment complex in Pico Rivera. The cops used to come so many times to my building that I just basically gave them the key to the building and the intercom code so that way they could go in and out freely.
Oh, cool. And
yeah.
And if somebody has the cops called on them once, they're okay. Twice, 3 times, how many times until they get kicked out?
Usually the second time, I pretty much, I'm pretty lenient. If there's a thing where loud music, I let it pass. But if it keeps on happening, I just ask them very nicely, you got to move because you're causing a lot of problems for me. I had this one resident who came by to my office who had 8 complaints against her. She's asking me why she has to move.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, can somebody refuse to move? What are their rights?
Well, we give them, I gave this lady a 90-day notice, just to be fair. And she's in housing, of course, and she can't, she keeps on telling me that she can't find a place. But yet, every day I see her, she's walking around my apartment complex.
Wait a minute. What do you mean she's in housing? What does that mean?
She's in Section 8 housing, sir.
Oh, I see.
The government program where they, where she basically pays less than $100 a month just to live in the apartment.
And the government sends you a check every month?
Yeah. Actually, the property management company.
How much a month?
About $800.
And who's paying for the...
Yeah, you and I are paying for that, sir.
Right. And how many Section 8 apartments in your complex?
23 out of 212.
And you have to have 10%?
No, I don't. It's just the fact that a lot of these people, a lot of the Section 8, the majority of them, actually, all of them are very nice family, except 2 that I asked them nicely to just vacate the apartment.
That's not a bad idea, is to buy an apartment building and fill it with Section 8 people, and the government pays you the rent.
Yes, but they're the ones that will also usually are more dramas than daytime soap.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. We thank you for calling. Sorry you got to deal with that. That guy manages an apartment building of 238 units. Can you imagine how many calls he gets? Hey, my faucet's not working. My door's jammed.
Yeah. How can that be a fulfilling job?
I don't know.
How can you even survive it?
I don't know. I mean, it really is amazing. My heart goes out to these guys who are landlord, but they're landlords on the property, and they got to take care of everything.
Yeah.
Every time your garbage disposal breaks, they're under there with a wrench.
Like, for instance, I'm not a landlord, but I am fed up with my girlfriend's problems in her apartment. 'Cause I don't even want to hear that. And she said, do you know what happened to my heater? I'm like, hey, bitch, I've been talking with Tim for 3 hours. I don't feel like hearing it. It's Wednesday.
Wednesday again. Here are the phone numbers. You got any interesting stories of lunatics that live in apartments here in Los Angeles? 520-9710 and 888-520-9710. Yeah, let's talk to Marcus in Van Nuys. You're on 97.1 FM Talk. How are you?
Pretty good, Tim. How are you guys doing?
All right, man.
Hey, I used to live in this building. It's just, really outrageous. Music all night long till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I moved out of there like the second month. I moved after 2 months of living there. It was just unbelievable. Music till usually 4 or 5 in the morning. You call the managers and managers say, well, call the cops or whatever, slam the door on you. It's like they don't even do anything about it, So
Wait, so they just tell you to call the cops?
Yeah, they just tell you call the cops, we're sleeping, don't bother us. And I was thinking, well, wait a minute, this is what the manager's for.
We're sleeping, they slam the door on you.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
This smells like a Van Nuys apartment.
Yeah, it's just, it's just a real slum area. It's just
whereabouts?
Off of Sepulveda and Victory.
Oh, yeah.
That's my street.
Yeah.
There's a great Italian restaurant on that corner, though.
Yeah.
Lito's Pizza.
Oh, yeah, they cure cancer there. Yeah.
I got the cancer pizza there. That's totally true, dude. I had blood cancer. I got a pepperoni pizza there. And I was running marathons.
Oh, God.
That's totally
Actually, it used to be a good restaurant, but that was years ago. Like 10 years ago, it was a good place to eat, but now it's just like...
Wait, Lito's is still good, no?
It's a pretty good place, but, you got a lot of vagrants and bums and drug addicts around there.
But those are just the guys that work there.
Oh, where's that symbol?
No, I love that pizza joint. Lito's Pizza is the best, man.
Yeah, they got good.
They got a great deal there too, like Monday night or Sunday night. They got like an all you can eat or some kind of great deal. I remember.
It says like I think they cure cancer and they'll do liver transplants all for the same price that night.
A liver pizza.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's just the area's gone down a little bit. It's just,
I know the area's not so great, but the pizza's good. All right, Bobo, you're a major stud.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for calling. I don't want to say it again. My friend of mine taught me that. Compliment and move. That's how you get out of a conversation at a party.
Okay.
Compliment and move.
You got to let me name drop just real quick. So just lift your feet so it won't hit your shoe and destroy your toes.
What do you got?
Sammy Davis Jr. once.
Whoa,
I'm standing in a hallway in Vegas. We were about to go in someone's dressing room who had just performed. So I end up, in a booth next to him and Altavis, his wife. And we're standing in the hallway and the show had been horrible.
Oh, really?
It was a horrible show. And I said, Mr. Davis, what do you say when you get in there? He says, man, you just say, that was something else. Swear to God, I'll never forget it for that. And sure enough, we're in the room. He looks at the guy and says, man, that was something else. And a few minutes he turns to me and he winks. And it was just a great moment,
That's so clever.
Sammy.
A friend of mine taught me that, though. I can't remember who the hell it was. But if you're in a conversation with a guy and you can't get out of it at a party, you compliment, slap him on the back, and you go, you got some funny S there. Slap him on the back like a friendly slap and take off. You got some funny S there, man, and move. Compliment and move.
That's weird because I have an area that's sensitive on my back from you slapping me. I'm not. Oh wow, gee.
Let's talk to Jason in Glendale. You're on 97.1 FM Talk. How are you?
Hey, guys, you're cracking me up.
Hey, so you live in an apartment building, huh?
Yeah, I do. First, I want to comment, though, Timmy. The manager was like, yeah, I call the cops out so much that I had to give him my key and the PIN code. And Timmy's response was, oh, that's cool.
It's almost 11.
It's cool that he doesn't, when the cops come, they don't have to wake him up anymore.
Right. So, I live in mostly a Spanish-speaking building.
Right.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's cheap rent, so I moved in.
What are you paying a month?
$800. And it's a kind of a large studio.
Jesus, that's still expensive, though.
Yeah, for what it is, and especially for the building or the tenants that are here that I see every day.
Right. All right. Well, and how many units in the building?
There's probably, I'd say 30.
And so what happened to you in this joint?
I'm coming back from washing clothes. I've got my dog on a leash. I've got a laundry basket in my hands. I come up on the second flight, and there's this guy with his shirt off, cell phone plugged into the hallway plug-in outlet.
Jesus.
Dripping in sweat. And first thing I think is this guy's high. Obviously, something's amiss, but...
Or he's in radio.
That was my second guess.
Right.
So he hops up and runs at me and tries to attack me, and I checked him with the laundry basket.
Right.
And he's coming back, so I tossed the laundry basket. I gave him a pop, and he went down, but he hopped right back up, came at me again, so I threw him down the stairs. And, I mean, it was a horrible landing for him. It was all shoulder and ear all the way down.
Oh, Jesus.
So I grab my stuff, and I bring it up and put the dog in the apartment, put the laundry basket down, I go back out, and I'm calling 911. This guy's got a pool of blood around his head down at the bottom of the steps. Everybody's come out of their apartments now because the first people to see him were girls, and they were screaming, and it was a pretty bad sight. But finally, they get here. The police get here. They interview everybody. This guy had been terrorizing the entire building for about 2 to 3 hours before I got here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so just a real winner.
Yeah.
You want to talk about crazy? That's the definition.
So what happened to the guy? Did you kill him?
Well, no. Typically, I've been in fights, but I'm not a violent guy. I genuinely felt bad for this guy. But they sent me a, what do they call that? A restraining order.
Oh, yeah, those things.
Right.
Well, no, they sent one saying that he was not allowed around me or a apparently his girlfriend, who's in the very next apartment over.
Right.
And when I called to find out exactly, what that meant, should I call or whatnot, they said, "Oh, don't worry about it because we deported him."
Oh, Jesus Christ. So he got deported over that?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, man. Did he live in the building?
Yeah, he lived right next door to me, Tim.
Jesus Christ. So I thought his girlfriend, I didn't know he lived with his girlfriend. But oh, Jesus, that's wild. What a bad run for him.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah. All right, Pablo. Hey, sign up for our poker tournament, dude.
I will. Where do I go?
Go to the website.
All right, I'll do it.
Where everybody should go. 971fmtalk.com.
You got it.
You promise you sign up, man?
I promise I'll sign up. You want me to call you on your cell phone, Arsenio? I got time at like 3 in the morning.
No, but leave that dog in that laundry basket at home. All right, Bubbo.
All right, guys.
You're a major stud,
Take
buddy.
care, dude.
With a big wiener. Anyway, that's where everybody should go. They should go to 971fmtalk.com and sign up for the poker tournament. 971fmtalk.com. And Arsenio Hall is going to try to get there. I mean, that's worth going down just to see AH. You know what I mean?
Poker tournaments sound so intimidating. I mean...
No, it's very fun.
Really?
Yeah. It's a very casual event.
But I don't have to be on your level or Jerry Buss's level to...
No, you can just be a novice.
Okay.
I think the last tournament was won by a guy who just started playing the week before.
Yeah, a guy that knew absolutely nothing. They teach you how to play at the tables.
Yes, it's great. Commerce Casino.
Arsenio, you got to come down. You got to see Tim at a casino. It's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Please, Randy, please.
Well, Randy, is there liquor there?
Yes.
Oh.
Lots of liquor.
Yeah. Oh. Randy, I'm going to do this on the air because I'm not comfortable doing it off the air.
Okay.
All right. You have got to put a filter occasionally on what you say to people.
That's all I said is you got to see Tim at a casino.
No. Please. My brother. There's only been once that I've yelled at you since we've worked together, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you almost got my wife in trouble. Remember that?
There was that time, and there was the time where I corrected your copy during a spot.
Hey, Tim. Tim, I would reword that though, because in the 50s, when you get, you almost got my wife in trouble.
Well,
sounds like Randy knocked her up.
Yeah, he almost got my wife arrested.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's different than knocked up.
Yeah, and well, that's not true. He almost got her in trouble with a person who could have arrested her. How about that? And I had to say, at one point I go, Randy, you gotta shut the F up. Because he was kept, talking about, it had something that I can't talk about on the air because she'll kill me.
Okay.
But that's that, and whenever Randy talks about me going nuts at a casino.
Well, why does Randy say that now that we've kind of,
because I have a tendency to get drunk and I get crazy at a casino. All right.
Oh, okay.
That's about it. And Randy takes it into an area that I don't like to talk about on the air, and he never understands why I don't like to talk about it.
Okay, but just
He keeps bringing it up.
Okay, but this is a quick question. I'll let it go. Do you go crazy because you're drunk, or does there have to be losing involved at the table?
Both.
Look at Randy.
Yeah, he's both. I met David Mosikin, the guy, one of the guys who runs the casino down there at Commerce. Mm-hmm. I had never known the guy before, and I started playing there about 10 years ago or so. Mm-hmm. Actually, I played there long before that, but I met him 10 years ago because I was playing blackjack, and the dealer asked if I wanted a hit, and I had 15, and she was showing a 6, and I gave her the sign of stay, and I've known the stay sign since I was probably
So that's what you put your palms facing down and you wave over the cards.
That means no mas in any language.
Gotcha.
And she gives me a hit, and I bust. And I said, no. I said, sweetheart, I told you this means no more cards. Mm-hmm. And she said, no, you scraped your hand towards you. I said, since I've been 3 years old, I've known the hand movement of no mas, no more cards.
Yeah.
And she's arguing with me, so I started using some colorful language with her and yelling at the dealer. And then Mosikin comes over and goes, what's going on over here? And I said, this stupid,
ouch,
bang, bang, bang. And I hit her up pretty good. So he says, let's go outside. So he goes outside and he starts talking to me. He says, what do you do for a living? I said, I work on the radio. And he says, I know who you are. He goes, your partner is Doug Steckler. I said, yeah. He goes, I listen to you guys all the time. But, dude, we can't tolerate that in there. You know, you can't do that in there. I said, all right, well, you know, you got to, you know, the dealer was wrong. So anyway, so he calmed me down. And I've been friends with the guy ever since. Mm-hmm. One of the few guys that I've met through the station that I was like, you know, still friends with.
Now, people listening in your cars and at home, let me tell you how great that story was. Randy is dying of laughter, spinning around in his chair. So somehow I got a feeling that it's even better to witness than to hear about.
Yeah, I don't want to get on the air why it's...
Well, I wasn't even really talking about it. I'm just saying, you know, that last time we were at the Commerce was one of the best nights of my life. That's it. That's it.
Randy.
God damn it.
Thank you. All right, I got a question for Gina Grad, also Randy Wang. I'm going to give you a couple of cities. What do they all have in common? New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, San Diego, no help back there, Baltimore, Tennessee, Arizona, and Carolina. What do all 8 of those locations have in common? Gina Grad?
The highest unemployment in the country.
Ooh, very good.
I like the way she guesses.
And that's wrong. Randy Wang.
Higher crime rate than L.A.?
Wrong. Those are the 8 teams left in the NFL playoffs.
Look at them.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, the NFL plays after January?
Uh-oh.
I thought it ended December.
Hey, you didn't watch any of the games over the weekend?
I have not watched an entire football game my entire life.
Jesus Christ.
Outside of high school. That's it.
Did you watch yesterday's game? Did you watch Philadelphia, Minnesota?
Absolutely.
That was a great game.
Oh,
what a great day it was. I mean, you had Baltimore, Miami, which wasn't a great game. And then you had Philadelphia, Minnesota. And then as soon as that was over, you flip on the TV and the Lakers are playing Portland. And my wife and my daughter are up in Oregon, so I had the whole house to myself. Mm-hmm. I sat there and watched all 3 games, every single moment of every game. Drinking beer, you know, cooking a couple of chickens on the barbecue. It was like a magical day for me, man.
It's one of the best things about having a son, you know. I mean, that's what I do. I did the same thing you did that day.
Is that right?
With the exception of turning to him when he was tired of watching and saying, "You little puss!" No, you gotta watch this before you turn out to be Randy. We had a great time watching, and the Lakers were off to a rough start.
Oh yeah, they're getting their ass kicked early.
Yeah,
Fisher was getting in trouble with the refs. It was crazy.
So what do you think of Minnesota? You like Minnesota?
I don't know. I don't think Minnesota's going to. You mean what the Timberwolves?
Well, actually, I felt bad for. I mean, they got beat up, but
yeah, you mean
I felt bad for that quarterback in the end. He just really started to fall apart.
Yeah. That was, you know what, the game next week to watch is, or this coming Sunday, Philadelphia at New York Giants.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the game to watch.
Do you think New York can win?
Yeah, I think New York will kill them. All right, folks, Arsenio Hall is with us. It is the Tim Conway Jr. Show. We are live on 97.1 FM Talk.
FM Talk. Now back to Tim Conway Jr. and Arsenio Hall.
Oh, hell no.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
Party people unite.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the Tim Conway Jr. Show with Arsenio Hall. We got to thank Arsenio for coming by this week, man.
Anytime you call me, I'll be here, man. I love hanging with you. Love hanging with you.
Bringing that adorable son of yours in as well.
Yes,
Arsenio
I brought him.
Jr.
He loved the first hour of the show, but he's home in bed now, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to lose my kid tomorrow.
John and Jeff are here from the John and Jeff Show. What's happening, fellas?
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's going on with the big show tonight?
You know these lottery pools that people have at work?
Yes.
Where they pool all their money?
Yes.
Well, in Ohio, there were about 20 people, and 4 people called in sick that day.
Uh-oh.
That day, a $200 million ticket winner.
Oh, geez.
So now they're suing because they're saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm part of the pool, but they didn't show up to work that day.
Oh, man.
Imagine that.
How about the guy that showed up that really wasn't sick, too? He just wanted to, hang out at home.
Use a vacation day.
Speaking of sick,
what a
are
nut.
you all right, man?
Yeah, just my voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's unbelievable. 200 million. That sounds exactly what I would do. I'd call in sick. Didn't have to be sick. Just wanted to spend the day with my daughter. And then Randy and Gina and Ron Escarzaga and Bill, everybody wins $200 million.
They hit all 6.
Yeah. All right. Got to thank Arsenio Hall for coming in. Major stud. Yes.
I just read that Luke Walton's foot is hurt. I'm shocked.
All right. And it was nice to see Arsenio Jr. earlier tonight. He's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And John and Jeff are coming up next, live right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Jesus. By the way, and this might be slightly off the topic, but have you ever been really sick, stomach is bothering you, and you sneeze, and
you hurt your back?
Oh, I'd like to hurt I wish I had to hurt my back, because there's nothing like cleaning it up when you're sick either. But have you? Yeah, I actually
That's not happened to me.
Oh, sneeze and just a little bit of poopy came out. Not a lot. I'm not exaggerating to make the story funny. Just a tiny bit of poopy.
I didn't. So far, I've gone through 45 years without that experience.
Well, I'm older than you, and I had more time to do something embarrassing.
When I was Frankie Renzulli, a friend of mine in the Valley, he was walking through the mall once with his uncle, and his uncle's 80 years old. He's walking through the mall, and his uncle stops, and then starts walking again. And Frankie goes, "What's going on with you? Are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, at 80 years old, you can't trust a fart."
KLSX HD, Los Angeles, home of the Adam Carolla Show morning with Frosty, Heidi, and Frank midday. Tom Likas drives you home afternoons. On air at 97.1. Online at 97.1fmtalk.com.
Get complete shows from Adam Carolla, Frosty, Heidi, and Frank, Danny Bonaducci, Tom Likas, and more. Just go to 97.1fmtalk.com and subscribe with iTunes.